people are greedy and they're racist and they're homophobic, and I feel discouraged. And so my daughters asked, well, what should I tell? What should we tell our friends? And I said, well, first, tell them to turn off their phones a little bit and go outside and have a conversation with somebody. You'll feel less depressed if you're not on a news feed all day long. But what I also say to them, and it's hard to do when you're young, it's one of the few benefits, I think, of getting older. What I tell them is age does bring perspective. And I think maybe, last night I took my daughters for the first time to the Acropolis, and it was a perfect night, and it was summer solstice, and the sun was going down over the hills, and the Parthenon was lit up. And I reminded them that not only do each of us have time to work and try and fail and succeed and then try again and succeed and fail and come back, and that most of us are fortunate to in this time on earth to life is short, but it's full if we live it and if we try and we're not afraid. But what I also said is that human history is long, and we have to have perspective. As frustrating and tragic and as the war in Ukraine is, and as the tragedy that happened with the ship off these shores is, and famine and disease and pandemic and climate change, all those things are real, and we have to fight for them. But I also remind them, if you had to be born at any time in human history, and you didn't know ahead of time who you were going to be, when would you want to be born? You want to be born now. Because for all the challenges that we've gone through, the world has never been wealthier, healthier, better educated, more tolerant, and for the most part, less violent than it is today. The progress we've made in my lifetime. I was born when most of the United States was still segregated. There was no recognition of the LGBT community. There was no recognition of the extraordinary talents of the disabled community and the differently abled community. And extreme poverty and crushing famine existed all around the world. And you think about the progress that was made just in my lifetime. Well, that's worth fighting for. And that, I think, is what I want young people especially to remember. Right? That we're never going to achieve perfection, certainly not in a democracy, but we can do better. And it's that slow process of doing better each generation. That with setbacks, with failures, but that we keep on going. Our grandparents, our parents. It's that process that ultimately is a great responsibility for all of us, but is also a remarkable privilege to make this world better. And that's what I was thinking about at the top of the Acropolis. I love the fact the scholar, the guide who was with us, explaining old Athens is still rubble, right? It's that middle portion. That's a reminder that yes, things get destroyed, but then they get rebuilt. And that's what democracy allows us to do. Sometimes we'll have tough times, but if we see the genius in all people and the worth of all people, and we come together and are willing to work together, then we can rebuild. And that, I think, is as good of a place as any for me to end, because that's the message that I really want people to leave from this event.
Perfect. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.